What's up everybody, Subaru fan here for another weekly update video. So if you watched the one from 2 weeks ago, you know that I'm switching things up a little bit, not doing as much coverage of the Mustang just because there simply won't be much new with it, since I'll be driving press cars primarily here for the foreseeable future and keeping the Mustang as more of a weekend car. And I'm going to be doing a separate update video with the Mustang every once in a while, and I plan on doing one probably in the next week or two to give you guys some updates on my plans for the Mustang, which are slightly changing. But as far as you know, these new weekly updates, it was actually suggested by one of the YouTube commenters here, Kendall Jackson. Huge thanks to him for the great suggestion, and many of you that also chimed in and agreed and you know, continued to further and give thumbs up to his idea, which is you know, because you guys said you like hearing me, you know, talk in the car and, you know, do that whole intro here for the weekly updates and doing an acceleration at the end. So he suggested do an acceleration whatever press car you're in, even if it's not something fast, you know, just do one for the fun of it. And I thought that was a really great idea, and so I'm gonna do that. So thank you, Kendall, for the suggestion. And so this week we are in the 2016 Jeep Renegade, the Trailhawk version. If you follow me on Instagram at EcoBoostFan, you'll know that I took delivery of this vehicle on Wednesday, and I will be giving it back next Wednesday and exchanging it for another vehicle. But yeah, the Renegade, just a few quick impressions. You can see the full review, which will probably be coming in like a week and a half. So not this upcoming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. And for those of you, by the way, that are worried about me just, you know, driving boring commuter cars and things like that in the reviews, I still plan to do lots and lots of sports cars, and fingers crossed I'll have a really sick review for you guys this upcoming Wednesday. So for those thinking I'm not reviewing fast cars anymore, that will definitely be proven wrong. But yeah, so don't give up hope, and I would ideally like to even possibly do 2 car reviews every week, one of whatever press car and then one of a, you know, personal owned car of, you know, one of you guys, or something that I run across as cool that's in a dealership. So we'll have to wait and see. My computer has been really crappy, and it's a 5-year-old Dell that's at the end of its life cycle, and so editing has been a struggle for me recently. So hopefully in the next few months I'll be able to afford a new computer, and you know, that'll help me to edit faster and therefore be able to put out 2 reviews a week. Currently I'm not going to be able to do it just with my computer limitations, but hopefully here in the next few months that will be something I'll be able to do. Anyway, back to the Renegade here. A few quick impressions and we'll go to the news here. So far I really like it. Like I said, you'll hear all my impressions in the review. It's fun to drive in the not serious way of, you know, it's in a whimsical, funny fashion. It's fun to drive around. I mean, this thing has like a 9.1 second 0 to 60 time. It's slow. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. 180 horsepower. It's the same motor as in the Dodge Dart, except it's in this, you know, crossover SUV instead. So not a lot of power, but it's fun, you know, with the handling and stuff. It doesn't feel heavy. It's pretty nice on the interior, aside from this one smelling like a smoker's been driving it. But other than that, it's a nice little car here. Now this one fully loaded is, you know, like 30,000 bucks. Some of the cheaper ones might not be quite as nice, but yeah, it's a nice little thing to run around in for a week. I don't mind it at all. So yeah, but that's my quick little impression. So I'll send it back to me at the news desk for this week's news. Right, for this week's news, the first thing is a very far-fetched report. Now, it seems to be fairly credible, but I just have such a hard time believing this. Anyway, the report from Car and Driver, who says that they have a source very close to Subaru that is claiming that Subaru is running around in Japan testing a mid-engined BRZ hybrid sports car that they said wouldn't actually be a version of the BRZ. They're just using the BRZ as the test mule for this all-new sports car. And I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to believe. I mean, they say they have a source close to Subaru and yada, yada, yada. And this is making the rounds everywhere. So this isn't just another fluky story about a BRZ STI that's never going to happen, sadly. This seems pretty legit. They say it would use the same platform that they're using for all the other Subarus going forward. And the reason why it's credible is we know that there's been more and more reports, and we've been seeing more concepts and whatnot of electric versions of Subarus and, you know, using hybrid power plants. We've already heard rumors of the new WRX STI having a hybrid version, and a lot of people said there's no way. But that seems to be what Subaru is going to be doing here in the next few years, is making everything hybrid and using that for performance in the STI and WRX models and things like that. So this story, though, is claiming it's an all-new sports car that would have a 1.6-liter turbocharged flat-floor boxer engine midship mounted behind the seats, and then have electric motors powering the front wheel. So it would be an all-wheel drive beast of a coupe, which is mid-engined and essentially would be a Subaru version of the NSX as far as the mentality goes and the thinking of it. Of course, it wouldn't be as fast with a 1.6-liter turbocharged engine plus the electric motors. They say that the combined horsepower output is around 330 horsepower for this mythical car, if it actually exists. 330 horsepower would still be pretty impressive if they can manage to keep the weight down and keep it, around BRZ weight areas. Then I think that would be pretty impressive. But I don't know if this is, like I said, credible at all. Just some sources, and yeah, I don't know. Even if they do, they said that even if this does get made, there's a possibility it could also just be a high-performance SUV/crossover, but they said it's more likely that it would come out as a sports car, traditional coupe body style. So they said that if this gets made, again, just lots of big ifs here, but if this gets made, they said that a concept car is at least 2 years away, and then the production version however longer after that. So this is nothing soon. Basically, count on this being at least a 2020 model year car, maybe even later. But that is what we're hearing, is that they're working on something like that. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but I'm still waiting for a BRZ STI, let alone some mid-engined hybrid supercar from Subaru. Anyway, in some actual production news from Subaru, today they just teased the new 2017 Subaru Impreza. And you can see a shot of it here with the glorious halogen headlamps. And again, more of, it not looking like the concept car. You would think that maybe they would have included LEDs as standard, or have, HIDs with LED accenting as standard, but this doesn't, maybe I'm wrong. It totally looks like a halogen lamp and does not look very futuristic to me. Although you can see from the front end, there's some styling cues there borrowed from the concept car. But again, Subaru makes breathtaking concept cars, and we'll have to wait and see, though. I'm going to reserve judgment until I see the whole car. But I am not floored by that teaser. And so anyway, we'll be seeing the whole thing unveiled at the New York Auto Show, which is coming up in less than 2 weeks for the press days. So it'll be interesting to see that. For something that is legitimately awesome and actually made in the flesh here, Jeep, they have their traditional Easter Jeep Safari in Moab, Utah. And so Jeep, they always roll out some special models. And they made a bunch, they made seven unique Jeeps for this show. Now, none of these are probably going to be anything close to a production car. They're just for fun. Sadly, I wish they sold every single one of these as normal Jeeps in their lineup. But the first one, and the showstopper, is the Wrangler Hellcat, which is called the Trailcat, and looks pretty awesome. It's, as you may have guessed, powered by a 707 horsepower Hellcat engine, and obviously is suited for off-road duty here, and looks every bit as awesome as you would imagine a Hellcat Wrangler to look like. And so that's pretty awesome, and probably will never actually be produced, but awesome to see nonetheless here, even for a one-off show car. The other Jeeps that they unveiled are the Jeep Crew Chief 715, which is very cool, a little Jeep pickup truck. We do know that Jeep is going to make a pickup truck, so maybe this will give us some hints, but again, these are all mostly throwbacks to, previous historical Jeeps, but still cool to see them nonetheless. The other one, they also introduced a Jeep Shortcut, they called it, which is based on, it's like a modern interpretation of the Jeep CJ5, and very cool. I love the plaid seats, and looks retro yet, still modern at the same time. They also unveiled the Jeep Comanche, which looks a little extreme, but honestly looks like it could actually be a production vehicle if they put a normal roof on it and whatnot. But as you can see here, it's based on a Renegade Trailhawk and actually has a 2-liter diesel 4-cylinder engine, but it obviously has a truck bed and looks very cool. They also did a Jeep FC 150, which is basically a resto mod. They just took an old old Jeep there and gave it a modern chassis and engine and whatnot, but very cool to see that. They also did the Jeep Wrangler Trailstorm, which has this cool paint job and some customization essentially, and not much more. And then the last one is a Jeep Renegade Commander, which has an interesting paint job and a few performance parts from Jeep, and otherwise a very stock Renegade. But very cool to see all those new Jeeps. And for some other news in the auto industry, there's a rumor that seems pretty legit here. Now, this was actually broken by Mustang 6G forums, which is a great Mustang forum for the 2015 and up Mustangs. Anyway, they unveiled that there is this auto consultancy firm that was talking about the plans for the future Mustangs and all the Ford and Lincoln products in general. And they said that the next-gen Ford Mustang, instead of the one that I currently have, is called the S550 generation. The new S650 generation has reportedly been moved up 2 years. So now, instead of coming out, I believe they said it was supposed to come out in 2022 as a 2023 model. Now it's going to be coming out in the year 2020, April of 2020, as a 2021 model. So cool to see that. Again, this is pretty far off into the future here, and the current Mustang still has many good years. There's going to be a refresh, we're hearing, next year for 2018, and then that will continue on until the 2020 model year, which will be the final year of this generation, reportedly. And then for 2021, with this new generation Mustang, we're hearing it's going to go with more aluminum components, and everything else is basically up to anyone's guess at this point, but we'll most likely continue to keep a V8 in one form or another, and should be even more impressive than the current generation. Speaking of the current generation, though, another quick thing from Ford is they're now offering a free day of driving instruction whenever you buy a Shelby GT350, which is very cool. They do the same thing with the Focus ST and Fiesta ST with their Octane driving school, and so now they're doing something similar here to help Shelby GT350 owners to better understand and fully utilize their vehicles in a safe manner. So great to see that. For some spy mules that are out being tested here, Porsche is out testing a new 911 GT2. And we knew that a GT2 would probably come eventually, and so we can see it running around the snow here. Based off all the speculation so far, we know it's probably going to take the current Turbo S, give it even more horsepower. We're hearing up to 700 horsepower, and then it will, of course, be rear-wheel drive in GT2 fashion, and obviously have custom bodywork that you're not going to see here on this test mule, but will be very cool looking, I'm sure, as well. And so great to see that. In other Porsche news, Porsche has confirmed that they're bringing the standard Macan. So, in America here, we've always had the Macan S and the Macan Turbo. We've never had a regular non-S Macan. And so that's what Porsche is debuting here at the New York Auto Show in 2 weeks. They're going to be showing off the new 4-cylinder Macan. It's going to be using the same turbocharged flat-4 engine that is going to be in the Boxster and the new 981 Boxster or whatever. And so it does come with a price decrease as well with this less powerful engine. So it's a 2-liter flat-4 engine, 252 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque, and the curb weight is now below 4,000 pounds at 3,902, and the price decrease, it's now including the destination charge, it's starting at $48,550, which is about $7,000 less than a Macan S. And another cool rumor that's basically confirmed, and that is that Ferrari is making a LaFerrari Spider. Apparently they did a private debut of it for owners and whatnot, and they said that it's going to be very limited production, even more so than the LaFerrari. It could be only 150 made, but it'll just be a convertible version. I don't know when we're going to actually see it publicly, but maybe the Frankfurt Motor Show in September is a good guess. Otherwise, who knows when we'll see it, but that is definitely in the works, it sounds like. So very cool to see that. Speaking of new supercars, Honda, apparently there's some engineers that are pushing for an NSX Type R, and what they're proposing is deleting the electric motors in the front axle and making it rear-wheel drive again, and upping the power and for the actual engine, and have the Type R version be that. And I think that would really be cool, and it would help the NSX get back to its roots of rear-wheel drive, and maybe make it a little more pure than the current version, which is one of the complaints. I think a lot of people were saying it feels kind of like a GTR where it drives itself almost, and so this could definitely make it a little bit more edgy than the current NSX, which would be great. Other Honda news is they officially announced the pricing for the Honda Civic Coupe. We know that it's the base model is going to be starting at $19,885, with the Touring, which is the nice fully loaded one, at $26,995. $26,960, so almost 27 grand for a fully loaded one. Still waiting to see what the SI brings, and of course the Type R version of that. Another thing that's exciting to see are spy shots of the 2017 Audi R8 Spyder, completely uncamouflaged. We see it in yellow here, and it looks exactly how we would expect one to look based off the previous generation R8 Spyder. And it looks great, honestly. And so, yeah, not sure when we'll be seeing that. Possibly Frankfurt as well for that one. But it looks great nonetheless, and very exciting to see. Other Volkswagen Audi group news here is Volkswagen has just unveiled the 330 horsepower GTI touring car that they have. And of course, this is not production. This is just a race car. They're only making 20 of them. They're already sold, and looks pretty awesome, though, I gotta say. Pretty sweet looking GTI there. And maybe they'll make a R400 or something for us still. But for those lucky 20, I'm sure that'll be a blast to drive. Other big Volkswagen news is that the CEO of Volkswagen of America, Michael Horn, he has apparently resigned. And I guess this was something that they've been doing a mutual agreement between him and Volkswagen for him to leave. And so he's out. I don't know who his replacement will be just yet. But, obviously still some rough times at Volkswagen apparently. And so, yeah, crazy to see the Volkswagen of America CEO step down now as well. For some more exciting news, so Hennessy and the crazy guys there that love hitting 200 miles per hour in relatively stock cars, they have the new Hennessy HPE 750 package for the new 2016 Camaro SS, and they just hit 202 miles per hour in it. And what they did to do that was slap a supercharger on it, along with some other upgrades, of course, to get it up to roughly, you guessed it, 751 horsepower, and it has 643 pound-feet of torque. For this top speed run, they did say that they were using 150 shot of nitrous as well. That may have helped them to reach that level. I'm not sure if a non-nitrous equipped version would hit 202, but still cool to see that they can do it nonetheless. And another Camaro news story here is for 2017, Chevy is unveiling a 50th anniversary edition of the Camaro here, which has some, special trim pieces and cool badges and whatnot, and is a nice little homage, for a 50th anniversary edition. I always like seeing, the heritage and things like that. So great to see that debut. And another thing that's pretty interesting here, speaking of the hybrid stuff like I was talking about with Subaru, another car you wouldn't expect to have hybrid stuff is going to be getting hybrid stuff, and that is Maserati. The Levante SUV, that is going to be coming out. We just saw pictures of it, it debuted here at Geneva. Looked great. And so now we're hearing that it's going to be using the same hybrid powertrain as the Chrysler Pacifica for a hybrid version of the Levante. Now, we don't know when that will actually be coming, but I'm sure, as long as the Levante is a decent sales hit, they'll continue on with additional versions, and this hybrid would surely be one of them. And so that'd be interesting to see, of course, using some FCA parts sharing and just taking the hybrid power plant out of the Pacifica. Makes a good amount of sense. Other Chrysler stories here is that I guess FCA, Fiat Chrysler Group, they're looking for a partner to keep building the Dodge Dart and Chrysler 200. See, because basically the CEO of Fiat Chrysler has said that it's not that they don't want to keep making the Dart and the Chrysler 200, but I guess they just can't keep producing them for whatever reason. And so they're looking for another person to build them for them so they can continue to sell those two cars. So we'll have to wait and see if they can strike up a deal, but cool to see that nonetheless. Speaking of partnerships for building other cars, the whole thing with Scion being discontinued, and the new Scion IA now being rebadged as a Toyota, and continuing to live on in the Toyota brand. We now know it's just going to be the new Yaris sedan. We already, the Yaris hatchback has been out for a while, but they haven't had a sedan. So they're adding the sedan back to the Yaris lineup here by just bringing the Scion IA over, and we know that is essentially just a Mazda 2 that Mazda won't sell in the States, and so we have the this instead. And so cool to see that. That's a really fast badge job. Apparently this new Yaris is already on sale in Canada even. So as you can see, though, they simply swap badges, nothing more, but still pretty quick work there by the Toyota folks to fix these Scions here. An interesting thing that came out this week was there's a hacker, a good hacker, that discovered in Tesla code that there is a new Tesla Model S P100D that is going to be coming out eventually. He saw even a logo that was in these files somewhere in this code or whatever, and very exciting to hear that, of course. And even faster Tesla is great news. And he said there's other things that were hinted at in this code, but he doesn't want to release those things just yet. He doesn't want to spoil all of Tesla's surprises, and so who knows what else is in store with Tesla, but sounds pretty exciting. And the last story of this week is BMW has made a Vision Next 100 concept, which is supposed to just be a fun design study of what BMW thinks a car will be like in 100 years, which is going to be so hard to predict, of course. I mean, if you would have asked people in 1916 to predict what we have today, I'm sure it'd be a long ways off. So yeah, but at least BMW's done the rational thing. They haven't just assumed it's going to be a flying car. And so what we have here is a autonomous vehicle, but the cool and really commendable thing by BMW is they also have a mode where you can actually drive it, and they say that it'd be cool to have this dual mode thing, so when you want to drive and have fun you can do that, but whenever you want the car to go into autonomous mode, it reclines you back and does everything for you, and is pretty smart thinking in a lot of ways. Some cool things like it has fenders that stretch out to cover the wheels, but yeah, so pretty cool to see that. Just a fun design study by BMW. And so yeah, that's it for all the news this week, guys. So send it back to me in the car.
Alrighty, so I leave you guys with a nice little acceleration here, like I always do. Jeep Renegade, baby. Oh yeah, fast and furious. Woo! Yeah, like I said, 9.1 seconds 0 to 60. It's got a 9-speed automatic, so it tries to make the most of this power plant, but it's just not a fast car. But people that buy a Jeep Renegade aren't looking for a fast car. It's perfectly adequate for regular driving. But yeah, so anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you next week. Take care.